Mastering the Pitch, Data-Backed Strategies for Smarter PR. This comes from Cision, which owns Haro and is one of the top authorities in public relations. Number 1, do your research. Look at the topics that journalists and influencers want to cover, or a subject matter that you know their audience is going to be interested in and find valuable. Look at data on the publication's top pieces of content. Number 2, personalization. Mention projects that the journalist had worked on in the past and what you particularly liked about them. Mention how what you have, your story pitch, fits into their area of coverage, and show that you've been paying attention to their work. 50% of journalists receive over 50 pitches per week, so one of the easiest ways for you to stand out is by writing a personalized message that goes beyond simply "dear name." 3, make it easy. Make it easy for the journalist to build out a story that you want to tell. Include images, videos, quotes, and key facts, but be very wary of attachments. Journalists, reporters really shy away from attachments, so often it's best just to have a link, for example, to a Google Drive where you have your photo or a video. Another tip is you might want to consider using CisionOne Outreach, which is a tool for outreach to journalists, like a relationship management system. And one of the valuable parts of this is that you're going to get data, for example, on what journalists are interacting with in your pitch. Now, I am not an affiliate of this program or anything, but just something to consider. Number 4, build relationships. Follow the journalists that you want to get published with. Follow them on social media, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, etc., to get better insights into how they're thinking and what their topics are, and interact with them, write comments, message them, etc. 5, ask for feedback. Ask about how to improve your pitching process. Look at the data, for example. What pitches were successful? Are there certain patterns there? Are there certain topics that you're more likely to get published for rather than others? Now, 3 little tips here, 3 insights. 68% of journalists want original research. This is one of the easiest ways for you to get published, is to have original research. People really like data, and it's also one of the most effective SEO strategies because people want a reference or a citation for somewhere that they can pull a data point from, and they're more likely to link back to your website. So for example, trends and market data, you could run a survey to people, perhaps your customers, if you have hundreds, thousands of customers, etc. 63% of journalists want to be alerted to new and upcoming events. So maybe you're hosting an event in your industry, or maybe you know about a niche event. You can bring that to their attention. Another key thing is that you should follow up at least once with your pitch. This is definitely something that I haven't been doing enough of recently, but that's generally what journalists want. One follow-up they think is sufficient anymore, and perhaps you're getting a little too pushy or a little too spammy. 6 strategies to maximize impact of your earned media outreach. Number 1, social media. Tailor your social media posts to each platform. So for example, on Twitter, you can post much more frequently, even about a single topic. You got to make sure you're using the appropriate hashtags and the appropriate quantity of hashtags. And this is going to vary by channel. On slower channels like LinkedIn and Facebook, you could, for example, include a short analysis as an introduction to a longer piece of content. You also have the ability to pin certain pieces of content to the top of your social media profile, and you might want to rotate that over time as people become bored and desensitized to what you have at the top. Definitely a weakness of mine. I haven't been doing that enough. Engage with people who comment on your posts, and engage with people that share it. Perhaps they can help you amplify it. Perhaps they could be potential partners in the future. Number 2, influencers. Build relationships. Influencer marketing is not just about paying them to do a post on their Instagram. It's also a long-term partnership play in a lot of cases. One thing I highly recommend is using the tool SparkToro to find out who the most influential people are for the target audience that you want. 3, own channels. So for example, on your website, show press coverage. If you're featured on Fox News, if you're featured on CNN, if your research got published on HubSpot, put that up on your website. You could also republish content that was published on these third-party websites. Of course, you can ask for permission in order to do this. 5, SEO. You can look at what content is generating backlinks. You can just type in backlink checker. There's a number of different options out there, different various software that can help you with this. That's going to give you an idea of what's successful, what's been working, so you can do more of that, double down on that. You can also look at what pitches were well received. Maybe there's a particular topic, for example, that's more likely to get published by journalists. And lastly, retargeting. Don't forget about your existing audiences, your existing followers, your existing customers. There's potential to, for example, get more views or more sales from them. You could do retargeting ads that promote your top performing content. So whatever's performing well through organic could also be promoted through paid means, as we listed here. You can also do things like email nurturing that are going to help nurture those prospects, nurture existing customers so they're more likely to give you more money in the future.